So, freaks, how did you do in your season? Did you, win the big one? 'Cause you just know I did. That's right, Vinny, no longer champ. I took his ass out in the semifinals, and old Goldie came back home to Papa. How did you do? Let me know in the comments. But here it is, finally, the Fantasy Tyrant End of Year Awards.
From the Fantasy Armchair, it is the Fantasy Tyrant.
Hey there, fellow fantasy football freaks. I know, it's been a while since I've done a pre-recorded episode. And yeah, I know, I said this was going to come out like 3 days ago. But had some family stuff going on. Family always comes first. Had to take care of a bunch of shit. Still going on. But, I got stuff put together. I put this off for probably about a week total if you really think about it. I just wanted to make sure that I had a quality show and that I was 100% into it. Because, you guys deserve the best, right? With all the sicknesses and holidays and other shit. I just hadn't done a pre-recorded episode in a while. So, my usual production, funny stuff, pictures, all that shit. Get ready for it. And that's not to say I don't like the live shows. Love those. I love talking directly to all of you, answering your questions, sharing laughs, having some one-on-one time, all that mushy shit. But it's nice to turn up the production a little bit again and get some of that quality content in. Now we say goodbye to the regular season, and that means we say goodbye to the fantasy season. Yeah, sure, there's like playoff leagues and, of course, daily fantasy, and if you want to know more about that and how you can get entered into exclusive free contests, 100% legal and available in every state, go to superdraftpro.com/thefantasytyrant. Sign up there on any tier and you'll get exclusive free contests. But yeah, other than daily, the fantasy season is over. And yeah, there's a lot of other fantasy shows who've been doing end of year shows, but it's the usual shit like, best player of the year, or best performance of the year, or breakout player, rookie of the year. We all know the answer to these guys, We all know the best overall fantasy player has been Jonathan Taylor, and we know that the rookie of the year is Jamar Chase. What about the biggest asshole of the year? Or who had the most batshit insane performance, of course, other than Antonio Brown? Well, I've got 10 very special categories for yous in the first ever Tyrant Awards. Now next season I'll have an actual statue and logo and all that shit. And I'll have yous all vote for the nominees. And I'll have a process to it. There'll be more production and all that. I kind of came up with this idea last second, so you get what you get, alright? But I hope you'll enjoy it nonetheless. First, because I know you've waited long enough for this, it's time to draw the winner of the signed DeAndre Swift jersey. That's right. We'll find out who the winner of the Grand Prize giveaway is right about nowish. So let's see, I'm gonna take off the magic hat of fortune, I guess. I'm gonna do a little magic, okay? Check this out, alright? Hocus pocus and Kalamazoo, whatever, holy shit and fuck you. There, see? Now we got names in the hat. Magic. Hey, I love it. So here we go. It's all for the DeAndre Swift jersey. Who's it gonna be, huh? Who's it gonna be? I don't give a shit who it is. All your names are in here. Each and every one of you have donated. Your name is in here. So, get that drum roll going. And here we go. I don't give a shit who this is. The winner of the jersey is Don Thompson. Hey, Don Marie. Congratulations. Yeah. It pays to donate, and you donated a lot, and you got a lot of entries, and so you win the DeAndre Swift jersey. Congratulations to you. Hit me up in Facebook chat, let me know your address, and I'll get this sent out to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much, each and every one of you, for your donations, alright? I'll put this back on. See? Nothing happened. Nothing fell out. It's magic. I told you. Anyway.
Hey, you want to win a signed jersey? Okay, I'll tell you what I can do for you. I got another grand prize giveaway coming up very soon. I'm going to tell you more about that at the end of the show, so stick around. But anyway, here we go. It's the First Annual Tyrant Awards. Sorry, I don't got like a logo or intro or anything like that. I just kind of thought this one up off the cuff. Next year, I promise you a better show. This year, courage. Let's start off with the Asshole of the Year. And this year's assy goes to Urban Meyer for just being a piece of shit man, a piece of shit coach and ruining James Robinson's fantasy potential. On top of being a sleazeball, he's an abusive coach who couldn't motivate a jackrabbit to fuck. I mean, he made Trevor Lawrence look like Taylor Hanson out there. Fuck him, fuck his career, and good riddance. Urban Meyer, you truly were the asshole of the year. Damn straight. Now let's move right along to the Captain Guyliner McBedshitter Award for the biggest bedshitter of the year. I think that pretty much explains itself. And the award goes to Mike Gesicki for his 2 goose eggs this season, while still somehow managing to be a top 10 tight end, just like Derek Carr, whom this award is named after. Just when we think it's alright to start this guy in fantasy gods take a piss in our beer, and that son of a bitch puts up another bullshit performance that ruins our week and sometimes our whole fucking season. 2 goose eggs in 1 year, even though the guy's been peppered with targets, and dude couldn't come down with any of them? What the fuck? Whether we call you Mike Gooseggy or Mike Gesicki, no moniker's bad enough for you, you bed-shitting bastard. You deserve this award. Now go pick up Jalen Waddle's bags and carry them back to the hotel, you jackass. See, wasn't this worth the wait? Next up, the bitch slap of the year. Now this is awarded to a player whose week looked like it was gonna be golden, so everyone started him just to watch the fantasy gods once again drop a deuce in our oatmeal. As we watched this player put up an abysmal performance that made us analysts who recommended him look like complete douchebags, and the players who took that advice look like chumps. This season's bitch slap of the year goes to Matt Ryan in Week 10 against the fantasy fiesta that was the Dallas D, coming off a 28-point performance against a tough Saints D, and that being his third 20-point fantasy performance in 5 weeks. We thought it was a no-brainer to start Matt Ryan, as he actually seemed to be worth it damn this season, only to watch him put up 2.68 fantasy points as the Cowboys shot down the Dirty Birds, murdering the poor bastards 43-3. Matty Ice was ice cold from there on out. Too busy doing commercials with Ice-T and Stone Cold Steve Austin, and not enough time working on his QB performance. He didn't even eclipse 14 fantasy points for the rest of the season. So fuck you, Matty Ice, you bitch slapping fucknut. You earned this award. Well, hey, this is fun, ain't it? Well, up next, yeah, well, fuck you too. Anyway, up next is the Who the Fuck Is This Guy award. This goes to the player who no one had on the radar, yet ended up being a fantasy asset, at least for a stretch. And this year the winner is, well, the entire wide receiver corps for the Lions. Yeah, I couldn't just pick one. It's my show, and I decided that the whole wide receiver crew for the purring kittens of the Motor City deserved this award. For a little bit it was Quintez Cephas, then it was Khalif Raymond, then for a little bit it was Josh Reynolds, but finally it settled on Amon-Ra St. Brown. None of these guys were drafted in 10-team leagues, probably not even in 12-teamers, but they made an impact, especially St. Brown toward the end. So there you go, Lions, at least you won something this season. Anyway, let's move on to my Dexy's Midnight Runners One-Hit Wonder of the Year award. And that's for the player who had one incredible performance and then fuck all the rest of the season. And the winner of that award is Tyler Huntley, Week 15 against the stout Green Bay defense. For those who were bold enough to start him as I recommended, you were handsomely rewarded with over 35 fantasy points. But for those of us who were Lamar Jackson owners, who started him as a replacement for Lamar in the next game or so, we quickly found we'd have to turn elsewhere for the rest of the season. He never even got half that score at any other point in the season. Therefore, like DMR's Come On Eileen, Tyler Huntley's Week 15 made him a true one-hit wonder. Now, one good game is one thing, but what if you could do that for a whole year? I mean, just 1 year. Yeah, we've had plenty of superstars that have multiple great years, but not so many that have had one and only one great year. About once a year, though, there's a guy that fits that bill, and that's why I've got the Peyton Hillis Award for the breakout performance that I'm pretty damn sure ain't gonna repeat. And the winner of the Peyton Hillis Award this season is Cordero Patterson. No one saw this season coming from him, at least not that much of impact. Dude couldn't put it together for the first 8 years of his career, then suddenly catapults into the top spot for running backs in fantasy after the first few weeks. Yeah, he trailed off a bit later this season, and that's just a sign of why he gets the Hills this season. I doubt, regardless of where he signs in the offseason, whether he re-signs with the Falcons or not, that he'll end up being a top 30 running back or wide receiver ever again. Enjoy your 1 year in the sun, Patterson, because it's back to the bench for you in 2022. Now we keep rolling on with the biggest disappointment of the year award. And if I had a statuette for this award, it would just be like a mom's face just like looking really disappointed. And this year's most disappointing player is definitely Allen Robinson. Hell, his lack of usage was so disappointing, Matt Nagy may have lost his job over it. Dude was knocking on the door of studliness last couple seasons, but this season, he got used less than a library card in the Kardashian household. Yeah, he dropped a few passes, but for the most part, he wasn't even targeted very much. Darnell Mooney became the guy, especially with Justin Fields at the helm, and A-Rob went from being a stud to being a dud in the matter of a season. I think he could actually be a steal in the later rounds of next season, depending on where he goes in free agency. But in terms of the 2021 season, Allen Robinson was a bigger disappointment than Cooper Manning. Aww, this award couldn't go to a more fitting guy. Now we're hitting a stride, so let's just keep going with the Fool's Gold Award. And this award goes to a player that we all saw potential in the offseason, but unfortunately fell flatter than Natalie Portman. And this year's Fool's Gold Award goes to Ramondre Stevenson. He led the league in rushing in preseason, picking up 216 yards on 30 carries across 3 games. That's 7.2 yards per carry. Compare that to only 4.6 yards per carry in regular season. An early regular season fumble landed him in Bill Belichick's doghouse, and that all but killed his season. Yeah, he shined in a couple games, but ended up outside the top 40 fantasy running backs and was absolutely unstartable. I've got higher hopes for Stevenson next season, but for this season, his glimmer in the preseason turned out to be nothing but fool's gold. Hey, congrats to you for hanging this far with this shit. I'm not even wearing a suit or nothing, I'm just like a overshirt, a hat, like what the fuck? Well, oh, it's like so super fancy, right? Hey, I promise, better production, better show next season. Well, let's just move along with the Brashad Perriman Award. Now this goes to a player who came out of nowhere to be a major asset in the later and more important stages of the fantasy season, especially in the playoffs. This is a guy who blew up just in time for savvy fantasy managers to take advantage and win their championships with him. Just like we did with Perriman like 2 years in a row. This year's Perriman is Braxton Berrios. What the fuck kind of name is Braxton Berrios? It sounds like a report that an economist gets in the morning. Like, he comes into the office and some lackey comes up. Oh, good morning, sir. I've got a cup of coffee and the Braxton Berrios report already on your desk. Anyway, when Zach Wilson came back to the helm for the Jets, Corey Davis was hurt. Elijah Moore was underused and then hurt. And Jamison Crowder was, well, a glorified water boy. So Wilson keyed in on Berrios, and over the last 4 to 5 weeks of the season, especially in Championship Week 17, Berrios was a solid flex play in PPR. Fortune favors the bold, and you had to be bold to see this trend, let alone pick up and start Berrios in your championship. But those who did were rewarded for the big-ass balls. And that's why Braxton Berrios is this year's Brashad Perriman Award winner. And finally, last but not least, the Antonio Brown Batshit Insane Performance of the Year Award. And there was some truly nutty-ass fucking performances this year, so this one was hard to pick. It really came down to 2 of them. And these 2 stuck out in my mind. It took me a while to choose between them. But for my money, I gotta give the slight edge to this season's Antonio Brown Award winner for the most batshit insane performance, other than Antonio Brown's little on-the-field act, Mr. Jonathan Taylor, with his 5-touchdown performance and 53-plus fantasy point total against the Bills in Week 11. Yeah, we could argue all day whether it was JT in that game or Jamar Chase in Week 17. But what drives it home for JT is 2 things. First, he still had over 50 points in standard, and he scored 5 motherfucking touchdowns. Chase had a bigger game in PPR, but he only had 3 touchdowns by comparison. And yeah, one could argue that Chase's performance coming in most leagues championship week should give him the edge, but it's because JT's happened during the regular season, it had a bigger impact on more players' teams. And let's face it, that game solidified JT as an elite RB and managed to catapult him to the top of most of us analysts' draft lists for the next season. Yeah, Chase will be a mid to late first rounder, but JT will be in the discussion for first overall. And that 5-touchdown Week 11 is a big reason why. That performance was, for my money, the most bat-shit insane performance of the season.
Hey, so that's it, my fellow fantasy football freaks. Another season in the books. I hope you enjoyed that. Don't worry, I ain't gonna disappear like I did last season. I've still got some things in the works that I'm gonna be doing each week. Make sure to stay subscribed, or subscribe if you haven't, and click that bell. That way, you won't miss any of my shows. Lots of stuff coming at you. Like I said, I'm going to be doing the news every week with the Hustler and all of them. I've got some Madden Let's Plays coming out. Yeah, I'm going to be playing Madden with a lot of people in and out of the industry. That should be fun. You get to watch me flex my Madden muscle, and trust me, I'm not that bad. Got some big interviews coming up with people you have actually heard of, so stay tuned for that too. Fantasy 101, just lots of shit coming down the pipe. And then, of course, this summer, we'll be starting up all the draft shows. Yeah, if this is your first season watching this show, just you wait. The fantasy draft is my specialty. But don't wait till then. Sign up with me today. You'll get exclusive access to some of my content. Plus, you get entries into the grand prize giveaway. And you know what? I got another one right around the corner. Yeah, that's right. And this time, I'm giving away a signed Keenan Allen jersey. Hey, there you go. It's the real deal. You're gonna love it. This dude could be a Hall of Famer. So even if you're not a Chargers fan, this is a hot piece of merchandise right here. So how do you enter? I'll tell you. If you signed up with me on Patreon, you're already in. You get an entry for every dollar tier that you're on. So if you're on the $5 tier, you get 5 entries. $10 tier, 10 entries, And if you're not signed up and you want entries, you either can sign up or donate via PayPal or Venmo. And just like the last giveaway, for every dollar that you donate, you will get an entry into the grand prize giveaway. So you'll be helping me keep the show alive while possibly getting yourself a nice piece of Hall of Fame memorabilia. I've got all the links in the description below for you to donate. So when's the drawing for this? Well, it's going to be during halftime of Super Bowl Sunday, where I will be having a watch-along party. That's right. Watch the Super Bowl with me. Take me on your laptop and let me be the special guest at your Super Bowl party. Or if your friends are all lame asses, or you're away from your peeps for the big game, or fuck, maybe you'd rather just trash talk with me while watching the game. Whatever the reason, this year you can. That's right, I'm doing a watch-along party for the entire #Tyrant gang. So come join me as we rip apart the bullshit officiating, the crazy-ass commercials, and just talk general trash during the biggest football game of the season. So join me for the Super Bowl, donate on Venmo, donate on PayPal, sign up with me on Patreon, and at halftime, I could be calling your name to win a signed Keenan Allen jersey. Be a winner like Don. Sign up today. Thank you all so much for liking, subscribing, sharing with everyone you know. Your support is much appreciated. Now, I'm not sure exactly when the next show is going to be, but I'm going to be doing stuff at least every week. So stay tuned for that. Hit the bell so you won't miss anything, alright? Until then, I'm out. Peace.